Hello everyone, my name is Nathan and today it's time for another episode of City Skylines. In the previous episode we took care of this prison island. We did have some problems with the vegetation, but you actually let me know that after a while, once it is outside of the water, it is going to recover the terrain, and the trees won't look quite as ugly. So we will be able to set down more vegetation, make it look more like the reference image without having all these dead trees. That might be a good thing to know. Another thing I would like to achieve today is actually, instead of having a bridge, this is something I never really wanted, we are going to set up a tunnel. The reason I set up a bridge is obviously because we're gonna need access to services such as the garbage, but also the prisoners need to be shipped over here. Now I want to clarify something that established itself between the last and this episode. This prison here is run in international waters on a private island by a drug lord family that is torturing the prisoners and experimenting with them. And so this is why you see some touristy stuff. This is actually not meant to be touristy. It's all private stuff owned by this kingpin family. But with the backstory out of the way, let's make this happen. I'm actually not really sure how this is gonna work out. I wouldn't be surprised if this doesn't necessarily work the way I anticipated. But maybe first of all, we want to expand this a little bit. This is going to allow us to make a tunnel. So I just want to go down here, slope too steep, that's not good. Come on, and now here cannot build on water. Okay, this is gonna be quite agonizing. Ah, nice, okay, we actually got a sweet spot. This isn't bad. Now, can I go even further down? What does it take to make this happen? I guess I'm just gonna have to raise the terrain beneath the water, but not quite above it. After a while, the slope isn't too steep anymore. That's kind of intriguing. It worked! It's not visible! Look at that! I never thought this would actually work so easily, but there you go. Naturally, we're taking a win when it is presented to us. Let's see, now at this point we want to come up again. Okay. Looks like we could do something like that, and then here we are coming up, finally. And we are going to join with the road. And then we can get rid of that, or, you know, we can continue it in the future. I think I'm just gonna leave it there. Now we just gotta fix the power. I'm also gonna do that a little bit nicer in the future, but I think this has been it. Now we actually have this secluded island, and the only apparent connection is the ferry connection. Okay, let me quickly see. Is there a significant problem in our city? It doesn't look like. There are still these noise-polluted areas, and I cannot find them. I guess it doesn't matter too much. Now, let's think. What do we want to do next? Maybe detailing a little part. I was kind of thinking about finishing off this area, or maybe even the entirety here. We are going to need... Is this shopping even? I know, these are offices, but we could definitely go with a bunch more offices, and then we need parking spaces. Apparently, you can see people are having trouble parking where they want. So why don't we go ahead and set up 2 parking spots? Come on. Oh no, this is not working, so maybe we're gonna leave 1 square free on the top. Then we also want to continue this, however, I don't want to make it squarish. We're still gonna make it somewhat useful. So go there and there. Yeah, I kind of like that. Gonna finish this area, gonna need some more offices here. We can also fill this area up with offices, this here as well. This is gonna provide a lot of job opportunities for the foreseeable future. And then I kind of want to leave this free. On the left and the right side of this, I would like to set up another park. I think that is a good idea. So as these guys develop, maybe it is now time to make this look a little bit better. Let me actually see my train tracks. Okay, there's a lot of stuff I will have to fix in this. So let me deal with this entire mess off camera. What we're gonna do is the industry and everything that's above the surface. Like, do we need all these power lines? I kind of doubt it. Let's redo this. Instead, what we're gonna do is the reasonable thing, and we are going to assume the power lines stretch across a road and then finally join up over here. That is much better. Now let me see, is there a connection between these 2 districts? Okay, looks like this one here is now isolated, but it is getting power from the other side. Maybe let me unpause quickly and see if I mess this up. No, everything still has the power. Oh, by the way, I realized, thanks to one of your comments, that the prison is producing its own power. I'm actually not 100% convinced this is the truth. Let me just test this out. No, that was a lie. Maybe it's only producing power after we have some prisoners producing power. But that sounds a bit crazy. We're not gonna rely on that. Oh geez, this is gonna be a freaking nightmare to actually adapt, but I'm gonna do my best. So for now, at least at the surface, it does look good. You come over. Oh, it's getting progressively worse. Geez, I'm not so sure about that. I can really get lost in the detailing part. Sometimes I just take myself too much time and sometimes too little, but it always depends a little bit on my mood. I'm always playing the game the way I enjoy it. And if I enjoy slopes like that, who are you to tell me something different? I'm just kidding, we're gonna fix that. Technically, this shouldn't be too much of a hassle. I just need to have enough space in between the slope nodes. And then maybe this last part we can actually redo. Let me just bring this over. We're gonna delete this and just do one magnificent slope instead. And of course it would tell me the slope is too steep and at the same time snap to everything. This does not make any sense whatsoever. I'm just gonna do a little slope. I think this is possible. And then the big slope. No. There we go. Now this is supposed to work as soon as I move this out of the way. There we go. Finally. Now obviously this might not look like a significant improvement yet. And that is because we don't have the right distances yet. Look at that. Look at what a difference it makes once you have it at the correct level. I mean, even moving this over is just messing up the tracks significantly, but we can fix it by adjusting the curve here. You can now see it is again a nice slope. So this has always been bothering me a little bit, but you know, as long as there are workarounds, I'm not too salty about it. Let's see, you wanna come here, adjust the curve. Oh man, what would I do without the move it tool? I would hang myself and nuke my citizens too. Oh, please give me a nice slope and curve too. Alright, so far so good. We got the train tracks and the highway done. Now I think I want to do this train track and we just want to bring it as close as possible to the buildings. They do not bother since they are industrial buildings. Give me a nice sweet curve. Beautiful. Okay, that's going to be nice actually. With tons of space to build and decorate as well. I'm also gonna finish this exit. However, all of these tracks, they might still change. I'm gonna try to find a way to actually bring them above ground, since, you know, it's not very realistic for trains to go underground. I mean, they do tunnel, of course, but usually they don't slope. Actually, maybe in preparation for that, we should already take care of this line here. This doesn't make any sense whatsoever, and we can just, you know, leave this straight. This can already nicely be tucked against the other tracks and not get in the way. Ah, okay, I see why I did that. Yeah, that's not gonna work out. Now the tunnel is overlapping. That stuff always makes me so sad. How could we prevent this from happening? I mean, yeah, I just don't have the right order of tracks. So instead, we are gonna bring this over slightly. Does this look weird? A little bit weird, but I guess we're not gonna notice it eventually. And there we go. Now we should have enough space for that tunnel to go down without overlapping. And then the rest here I'm either gonna do off camera or simply another time, because that is just gonna be the wildest thing to adjust. Yeah, let me do this another time. Okay, so far so good. Now that we know the exact distance, I'm also going to zone offices here. We don't need them there, though this could just be a tram loop in this case. I mean, I don't necessarily like to keep the tram loops, but you kind of have to. So let me... Oh, cannot cross each other. Oh, hold on, I'm an idiot. These are, of course, trolley bus lines, so we have to go with these roads. Now let's do one more thing, just in case somebody is interested in actually doing that, and that is using a pathway to get over into the industrial area. We're gonna sacrifice one building in order to achieve that, and will you look at that, almost immediately people are using this. This is kind of insane. We're gonna do offices up to this intersection right here, and then, yeah, let's have some buildings here as well. I'm actually gonna fill up the rest here with a little bit of forest. Let me check the pollution first, though. Yeah, the pollution is actually really great because of our policy, so we will be able to set up a forest, no problem. And then on the other side here, I would like to have some small parking spaces, maybe 2 or 3. Let's add them here. And the rest of it is gonna be a park structure. So you will be able to suggest a name once again. I think we haven't done that in a while. Hold on. This is Neptuni, but I would like to set up a park. Looks like I cannot overlap the university districts and park districts. That is kind of intriguing. So what I'm gonna do is just take this bridge as a divider, and the highway is gonna be the other deciding factor for the divider. So up to this part, we're gonna have a normal city park, I would assume. Let me actually check. City park, tourism, leisure, amusement. Yeah, I think city park is just, you know, the most logical thing right now. I would like to have my main gate on this side, and then we're gonna have a side gate right here for the parked cars. I'm actually going to do one more parking space just in case. Now, what exactly do we want in this part? I really think it doesn't matter at this point. All we need to make sure is that we actually fence this off this time. But we're going to have our main road like so. Add a couple of side paths. And then every now and then we're just going to have a side branch. And I want to make sure these are actually not connecting to the road. There we go. And then maybe add another one like so. We can set up another building here. Let's actually do that. We definitely want a park plaza, that's for sure. Let's add that here. We're gonna have the logical stuff such as the cafe, the restrooms, the information booth right at the beginning of the park. And then obviously it's also gonna continue on the other side. So before I go too crazy, maybe let's go ahead and set this up. I want to have my park structure to fill all this up. And then I guess at this point we could, for instance, bridge over like so and connect with this guy again. Now this is probably, yeah, way too high as per usual. The pathways are just too crazy in that regard. They always go way too high up. Okay, not bad. That is actually good enough. Now, what else was I missing? Like the restrooms? No, the info booth. Want to have that right here. Then on the other side, we're going to set up a chessboard. We're also going to have a bunch of gazebos like so. Then let's get a playground in the joint. You know, actually, I think we have enough space to do everything here. Except, of course, the stuff that has to do with water. But this essentially means we can set up a couple more buildings that hopefully are going to attract even more people. Can I have another cafe? Thank you very much. I'm going to be the next me. Thank you very much. I feel like everything is still empty. I'm going to set up a bunch more gazebos and then also more playgrounds. Can have some more gazebos here. What else? What else? Another chessboard. That actually doesn't look too bad. Let me see. Is this all encompassed in my region? Not really. So I want to make sure this is all nice and expanded. This actually... come on. Do I really have to be this precise? Probably not. But there we go. I made sure that none of the other buildings are actually part of this. And I guess we can also divide this up here and there. I would say good enough. Okay, now we need the fencing and the vegetation. Let me go back here. We should be able to set up our fencing, no problem. I'm actually gonna do this a little bit wild. Most of the fencing here is gonna be made invisible by the vegetation we're gonna place, but I still wanna make it somewhat realistic. And obviously we don't want people to break into the park. No, that wouldn't be nice. I guess considering everything, the most important part is this type of fencing to prevent the unspeakable, of course. There we go, set and done. Everything is enclosed. You can actually see it a little bit from a distance, but this is gonna disappear again, as I said, as soon as we're through planting our trees. Let's maybe first do a couple of rocks. You know, rocks are always a little bit tricky to place, but every now and then you have a nice space for it. Like this roundabout, I also want to heavily decorate. Let's see, can I break the fencing here just for a bit? And so instead we're just gonna bring the fence over and we can even move it against the rock, so it still does look realistic. I give you all the rocks. And you give me all the pain. We can definitely fit a nice rock structure here. I actually wonder how many props can I still place? This cannot be. 1,800 props? I surely have more. Maybe I'm looking at this wrong. Well, you know, we can test this. 78. What happens if I place another rock? Then we still have 78. So that was something else. Oh, I can hear a lot of people upgrading. I wonder what level were these guys at? Mostly level 2 from the looks of it. So they are really happy about Belmont Park, which is not Belmont Park because you guys are gonna name it. As usual, we're gonna the advertisement campaign. Fine for fire. No. Celebrate could be good. Maybe night tours. Alright then, back to decorating. I'm gonna start with my foliage first. Foliage. That sounds wrong. Foliage. So for now, we're just gonna set up a ground layer here for adding bushes and trees. Actually, this is not bad already. Let's move to the trees. I wanna start with a large tree in order to shield them from the train tracks. Let's see, could I do this with this type of tree? I don't want to go with the largest trees. Yeah, I think we can still move past this with the trains. And so I'm just gonna start setting up one row of these trees to cover the line of sight. Yeah, yeah, that actually works phenomenally. It just looks a little bit unnatural. So let's add a bunch more and maybe also different varieties. Now for the spots over here, I just want trees every now and then. For instance, 2 of those, and then maybe add some significant spots. We can have the smaller ones. I'm gonna add a couple here though to get rid of the fence. 1 there, 1 there, 1 here. You get the basic gist. And now just in very rare occasions, we're gonna have one of these really large great woods. Or I should maybe say tall. I don't want too many of these in this particular place, but a couple of them give it a nice variety. Alright, well, you look at that. Not too shabby. Let's make sure they also have the water and the power. Power should be fine, theoretically. Okay, we can leave the game running and see how they actually do. This should all upgrade on its own. And once it is at the maximum level, we ought to make sure we also increase the prices. But look at the upgrade spree here. This is insane. Like, everyone does it. We need to place more parks overall. By the way, what do you think? How far are we done with this city? I mean, check out the map. We still have plenty of places. And if we want to start decorating stuff just like in this place, or let me actually find something finished. The old town, for instance, is finished. And then also the Shire right here. This entire place is more or less finished. Of course, there's still this part to be done. That is down here. But just imagine how many more episodes would we have in order to complete this city. Give your estimation and we will see at the end of the series. Alright then, looking at the time, I have multiple options. I can either stop recording right now, so I can release the episode today, or I could continue tonight when I have the time again. And I kind of decided to wrap it up at this point because I also fancy playing some more Prison Architect today. And it would also mean if I didn't wrap it up at this point, you would not get an episode, and then the episode of the Prison Architect would delay itself. So what we're gonna do is today, City Skylines, hopefully tomorrow or the day after, we're gonna have a Prison Architect episode and then another City Skylines episode, and then maybe on the weekend I can do another scrap mechanic. But there we go. As I said, I usually like to do what I fancy. And even though we haven't really accomplished much today, I'm pretty happy with the results. Alright then, with that out of the way, let's wrap it up. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great time and see you soon. Bye bye.